Alright, so mates, welcome to another free tutorial today. So in today's tutorial, we'll be drafting this beautiful shoulder bustier top that you're seeing me do on the screen. Okay, so I use my marker to illustrate it because on the table we are using pencil so that when we want to do alteration and the likes. So I just use my marker here so it will be more obvious. So if this is something you would like to learn in detail, kindly keep on watching this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's build the favor family together. Okay, all right, so welcome. So I've gone ahead to mark my horizontal line all across. So I'm labeling that place shoulder line. That place, it's just a guide. Okay, it's just a guide, just so that I will have a space at the top of the, you may not put yours, but I'm doing it just to have it like that. Okay, so I marked half inch. Now I'm marking my shoulder. My shoulder is 7.5. So from the shoulder, I'm taking my neck, which is 3.5, which is 3 by 3. So I'm taking the 3 by 3 round. Okay, so we have a round curve. I have a video, a detailed video on, how to take a perfect body pattern. So I will drop the link of this video under this video so you can learn. Okay, so but the focus of today is our shoulder dart bustier. But even while you are learning that, you will still learn one or two things, how to share your dart across and all of that. Okay, so I've marked my neckline. So on that shoulder line, which is 7.5, I'm coming down by 1 inch. You can see 1 inch. So you connect it to the neck tip. Like I used to say, our shoulder is not straight, it's slopey. So we are marking our shoulder slope. Okay, so you come down by 1 inch. Some come down by 1.5, but 1 inch is just perfect. Okay, so that is that. Now I am illustrating how to take my armhole. Your armhole, to take your armhole length, okay, it is your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. My bust is 36 divided by 6 plus 1.5 will give me 7.5. Okay, so to mark the 7.5, I've come down by 1 inch shoulder slope. So I'm now demonstrating, because if I want to take measurement across aside that shoulder slope, I don't want to be 1 inch shortage. So above the shoulder slope, I will take 8.5, as you can see. Then below the shoulder slope, I'm taking 7.5. Okay, so now I want to take my shoulder length, which is 7.5. The shoulder length we took, I want to take it down as well on that shoulder armhole length that I just took, so that I will be able to draw a straight line. I hope you understand. I'll be able to draw a straight line. So I'm connecting from the shoulder slope, from the shoulder slope down to the armhole, or you can connect it from the armhole down to the shoulder slope, anyhow you want it. Okay, so you can see I didn't connect to the line I draw at first, because that is not our major line, but we need that line so that we can take all our measurement from there. We have a very straight horizontal line. I hope I am clear. Okay, so now I'm just taking the 8.5 all around, so that I'll be able to draw an horizontal line which will form my chest line. Where your armhole starts, that's where your chest line starts. Okay, so now I want to measure my bust point. So my bust point is 9.5. So that is what I'm taking right now, 9.5. So I'm taking the 9.5 all across, starting from that line. You see, that is the whole essence of that line. So it will stand as a guide. Okay, all right. So I will now draw the vertical line, the horizontal line for that 9.5. Don't mind me, it's a horizontal line, not vertical. Okay, so this line I'm just drawing now is my bust point line. I like using pencil to draft because it helps me when I made a mistake or error, you'll be able to clean it off and correct it. So that is the reason. So the same thing for you. Feel free. Error is bound to happen, but you should be able to correct your error on your pattern before you transfer it to your fabric. So now I've gone ahead to mark my underbust, which is 13. Now underbust is 13, so I'm marking it from that line, the guideline. Let me call it the guideline or guideline that I marked there. So I marked it all across 13. Okay, so now I'm just making it, labeling it as under bust. Just follow along with me. You will learn a great lot in this video. Okay, so we've been able to ascertain our shoulder, our armhole, our chest line, and our bust line and our under bust line. So from that tip of my neck, okay, I want to mark my waistline. My waistline at the front is 17 and a half. 17 and half. 17 and half. So that's 17 and half. I've gone ahead to mark it all across, and then I'm connecting my horizontal line like so. So that is my waistline. So that line I just drew now is my waistline. Okay, so I hope we understand it to this point. Please feel free to ask questions if there is anything you are not clear with. Maybe there's something you need me to explain better, or you need a kind of explanation for that. All right, so on your armhole length, you will divide it by 2 and note the midpoint, because we want to go in, okay, by half an inch. But at times going in by half an inch, you may ask question that why going in by half an inch? What forms the half an inch? So you may want to measure your chest across the front. My chest across, by the time you measure it across from one close to your armhole to another close to your armhole, for me it is 14 divided by 2 is 7. So I've gone ahead to mark the 7. So by the time I took the measurement at that end at the other time, I still have the total length is 7. The total length of my armhole is 7 and a half. Okay, so that is the major reason for that half inch I came in with. I hope you understand. All right, so on our bust point now, we now mark 3 and a half, which is our nipple to nipple. Please, if there's anything you don't understand, go to that other video that I did on basic bodies. You will understand better. Okay, so but I'll try as much as possible to explain. So I've marked my 3 and a half from the bust point down to the under bust, now down to the waistline. So that is our nipple to nipple or bust point. Okay, so that is our nipple to nipple or bust point. So the reason for this line is because that is where we'll be taking all our darts. Okay, that is where we'll be taking all our darts. So first I'll go ahead and measure the normal standard dart, which is half inch on the both side on the waist. I'll take half inch on the both side on the waist and then connect it. You can see I'm taking the half inch and then connect it to the bust point. But before I connect it to the bust point, I will try as much as possible to come down 1 inch from the bust point. So just come down 1 inch from the bust point. So and then I'll connect it to that half inch that I marked. Okay, so that is just the guide. We are cutting bustier, so we'll still adjust that dart. But now we come to our shoulder. Okay, from on that shoulder slope, come down and measure what you have there, divide it by 2, mark the midpoint and connect that line to your bust point. Okay, you connect it to the bust point exactly. So that is that for that. All right, so I'm just going ahead. I didn't really like the line I have. I'm thinking maybe it's not even enough. Like one side is bigger than the other, and then I'm just trying to adjust this at that point till I am satisfied. So decimate until you are satisfied with what you have. There's nothing rushing you. Just take your time and do your thing, so that by the time you are done with your pattern, you know the pattern you are using is perfect for you. Okay. All right. So I was saying something before, that the first that we took is just like a guide. Now we want to take our standard dart. So to take your standard dart for your bustier, minus the difference between your burst and your waist. My bust is 36, my waist is 32. So minus it, I have 4. Divide it by 2. You know, our pattern is on 4. That's why we are dividing it by 2. Okay, so whatever we are sharing it on one side and the other side. I hope you understand. Like, by the time this is just like half of the front. So when we divide 4 by 2, we have 2. So 2 is meant for half of the front and the other one for the other half of the front. Okay, so now I've gone ahead to mark mine. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the total that length you want to have on your under bust will have to be 2. So it now depends on how you want to share it, whether you want to share on the center front line, whether you want half an inch, and on the side front on the side you want to have 1.5, because that is exactly what I did. Okay, I marked half an inch, okay, on the from that midpoint of your dart. I'll still use marker to make that midpoint obvious. You mark half an inch to the center front and then 1.5 inch to the side front. I hope you understand. So I will also go to my shoulder line and mark 1 inch, which is still my 2 inch. So I'll mark 1 inch and then connect it down to the bust point. All right, so I'm trying to arrange my video in order for you to be able to see clearly. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and demonstrate what I did the other time. 36 minus 32 give me 4, divided by 2 will give me 2. Okay, so now I want to explain something here. Some people, they would take the 2, which is the difference between their bust dart and their waist dart, till the waistline. There's no hard rule to it. You can take it to your waistline. Okay, but I decided to stop mine on the under bust line. So I stopped mine on the under bust line, and then I will continue taking all my dart. So now I just want to demonstrate that if you want to take it on your waistline, is fine. You just decide how you want to share it, whether you want 1.5 inch to the side of your dart. So now I'm just making my center dart, which is that nipple to nipple measurement we took, more obvious, so you understand what I'm saying. I took 1.5 inch on the side dart on the underbust, so you can come down and also take the 1.5 inch and connect. Okay, so you can decide to do that, and then however it is you want it to be. But for me, I have chosen to stop that 2 inches sharing on the waist, on the underbust dart. So now I want to close my shoulder dart, the 2 legs of that dart opening, so that it will be equal by the time I am joining. So I'm tracing it. So the little inches I have on that side dart, so that is where I will now connect my new shoulder line. So now the next thing you want to do now is to return back the 2 inches dart leg. So I'm returning back that 2 inches dart leg, and then on the previous armhole you just mark that 2 inches all across to form your new armhole. So that is what I'm doing, not on the line. That 2.5 an inch will go in, so you just mark it all across, and then you can also draw a straight line. Okay, and then just go in by 1/2 an inch, like exactly the way we did it before. You just do it again here, so however it is you want. Okay, so that is that for that. about the armhole. So you just go ahead and clean it. So that is the reason why I'm using pencil, guys. But my brother told me that I can, use a different pencil that is more obvious than this. So I will try and use that next time. So now I'm now dividing all my circumference measurement divided by 4. Okay, but before then I want to take the difference between my back length and my front length is 1.5. So I've gone ahead to mark the 1.5 on the from the bust point. You just come down by 1.5 and mark, and then connect it to the bust point. So that bust point, like I said in my other video, is the apex point. Okay, so right now we will now divide all our circumference measurement by 4. Okay, so on my bust point, I've measured my circumference measurement divided by 4. My under bust measurement is 30. Then I'm taking the allowance, the dart allowance, which is 2, and then 1 inch seam allowance. The same thing on the waist. I'm marking 1 inch dart allowance and 1 inch for ease or seam allowance. So I'll connect all the last lines together. So the line you are seeing me clean right now is the line for the original measurement without allowance. So I've connected that lines together now, as you can see. So that is our new, so this line I'm drawing now, I'm just illustrating that that's our previous line, and then I'm just cleaning it off. Okay, so my paper has a joining in between, so but then I hope I'm trying with this. I'm also going down to mark 1 inch downward as an allowance on the hem, and then I'll cut like so. So we are done, guys. Easy peasy, right? Okay, so on the neck, you can decide to use any measurements. I'm just trying to illustrate that. Can you decide to use any measurement? But let's just stick with this 8. If you want to learn different kind of neck, I have a video that talks about, I will still drop another video on how to draw different kind of neck actually. So please subscribe guys, and like this video. If you are getting value, please like this video so YouTube can push it to more audience, and then subscribe, share my video. So right now you want to connect. I don't want to join my bust dart. Okay, so I just want to close it. I don't want to have too much dart. Already have from shoulder to waist. I still do not want to have bust dart, so I'm closing it. Okay, so you just take it from the 1 inch I came down, 1.5 inch I came down with. There is a joining in that middle, so that's why I'm struggling with it a bit, but don't mind me. Okay, so that 1.5 inch to the bust line, can you see, to the bust line. So and then you will now trace a new dart leg, a new leg for that, to trace it to connect to the original leg, so that by the time you open it you won't have any form of shortage, guys. All right, so right about now we are done with the front body. So our front body is looking all nice. Okay, so this is the front body. So by the time you join it, you are cutting your fabric on fold. Okay guys, so I've gone ahead to mark all my back, but let me explain. So my 7.5 inches for shoulder, okay, I came down by 1 inch, okay, and then I connect like so. And then I had my 3 inches width. Whatever width you took at the front is what you must take at the back, guys. Please don't take 3 at the front and come back to take to the back bodies and take anything different. But the width, the depth, the depthness, how deep your neck will be, which is the neck depth, can be different. You can take any amount of neck depth you want. So I took 2 inches. So I connected from the zipper allowance down to the original neck. all your back measurements must start from your center back, which is that vertical line you are seeing. Okay, so that is that for that. And then I've gone ahead to mark my 9 inches, my 8.5 inches, which is, I'm just demonstrating that from the hem of the pattern, I will have 8.5 inches to the armhole, which is the chest line, but from the shoulder stop it will be 7.5. And then I've gone ahead to mark all the lines for the bust points, under bust, and the waistline. So there's nothing different. The only difference here is that my waistline here is not 17.5, it's 16. So I've gone ahead to also mark my darts. So my darts, half inch on the both side like we did at the front. Okay, so on the zipper allowance, which is on the waistline, you want to go in by half an inch or 3/4 of an inch or 1 inch. But I did go in with 3/4 of an inch, which is 7.5 inch. Okay, then I connect it to the neckline. Okay, so I want to make my dart more obvious. The pencil we used at that other time, I feel like I should have used marker. Because of a lot of alteration, that's why I still use the pencil. Okay, so that is that for that, guys. So after doing this, we'll now come ahead to that waist that go in by 7. That is the zipper allowance there. So you also go in by 7.5 inch and then connect. So we are cutting that other side, that excess, we are cutting it off, because that excess, if we leave it like that, our zip will not stay well on our body. The thing will just be folding at the back, and we don't want that. Okay, so another way to tighten up and to get rid of zipper bulge is go in on the waistline by half an inch. Just take it away, because one thing I discover is what makes the zip bulge to be what brings about zip bulge is because the cloth, there is an excess that is not having a place to rest, because there is a lot of cuff at the back. So that's why we go in and then connect it to the waistline. So now I'm going ahead to mark all my horizontal line, all my circumference measurement. So my circumference measurement divided by 4, I will take it and then take the 1 inch that allowance, we return it back to the measurement, and then take 1 inch is allowance or sewing allowance, anyhow you want to call it. So that is what I'm doing right now. Okay, so we are just about to finish up, guys. If you watch this video till this length, oh my god, I give it to you. Thank you for sticking with me. Okay, so that is that for our basic back bodies for this pattern. So I want to mark an allowance for the hem as well. So you can see that 1/2 inch I came up with, I connect it back to the original waistline, because you don't want anything to affect that side line, that original waistline. The problem is for the back to the zipper bulge to be gotten rid of, not for the side, because your front and your back must align. So this is 16, which is length for the back. So by the time you take your front measurement, haven't closed your 1.5 inch for your front, you can see 17.5 minus 16, we still have 17.5 minus 1.5, we still have 16. So the front and the back must be equal. So what I just did there is, if you don't want a sharp edge on your side dart, you can just go in by 1/2 inch. But we'll learn a lot in this channel, so kindly subscribe. Don't want this video to be too long. The video is getting long already, but I don't mind, because I want to calm down and explain to the best of my knowledge. And if there's anything I didn't say and you'd like to know, kindly ask questions. I'll be so glad to answer your question. Okay, So that is that. I'm just demonstrating how to close my dart. And all right, there's nothing much to say. Okay, you can just watch what I'm doing. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I really appreciate. I'm not taking this for granted. Okay, so kindly like this video. Please subscribe. So I'll get more encouraged to do more, valuable content for us. So I'm just here. I'm just trying to demonstrate. If you want to have a shoulder dart, and I don't want to have a shoulder dart at the back for this pattern, but if you want to have it, you can just connect like you see me do, and then go in and out by 0.5 inch or 0.25 inch and cut it through to the shoulder. But you must return it back to your pattern, which is the shoulder. You return it back to your pattern. So that is that about this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.